Okay, folks, thanks for joining. And okay, so a little bit on what we're going to talk through. Who am I, by the way? Just a chance just for me to blow my own trumpet. I am Stephen Moody. I'm a long-time Param member. I think I was one of the founder members. But since then, I've got into coaching. I've become voted Triathlon Ireland Coach of the Year. I've done a load of Ironman U certification, Triathlon Ireland, yada yada. I've done a lot of Ironman distance. So I do a lot of coaching, and more recently, I have become a YouTuber, which I'll shamelessly plug later on. So yes, very experienced coach, very experienced piranha, very experienced racer. So probably should listen to me. A couple of things we'll do. We'll go through the agenda, the relay course. I'm going to give you some training tips, some equipment recommendations for swim, bike, and run, and we'll give it open to actually just you can ask any questions you want at the end. Just a little bit of lingo. T1 and T2 stand for transition one and transition two. Transition one is where you transition from the swim to the bike. Transition two is when you transition from the bike to the run. Obviously, as a relay team, this will be where you'll be doing your handovers. Age grouper, that's what you guys are, and not professionals, but that's only the start of your journey. Soon after doing was it DCT, you will become professional athletes, give up your jobs, but don't tell your boss we're the reason they now need to backfill a role. Um, Brick is when you do a run off a bike or you do a swim, a bike straight off a swim. It's just a training parlance. Chicked is when you get beaten by the faster lady in the office and you have to just deal with that. Triathlon is a great leveling sport. There's some really fast ladies out there and you just have to deal with it. DNS did not start. DNF did not finish. DQ disqualified. We're all going to start, so we don't worry about it. We're all going to finish. We're not going to worry about that. And I'll tell you how to avoid getting disqualified. Basically, nudity. Okay, your challenge on the 23rd is your team will be swimming 750 meters, cycling 20K, running 5K. Okay, and you have to crush the competition. I'm not too sure what companies you're up against, but again, like just make sure that you do, as and find out what are legal firms you're racing against, or tech firms, or financial service firms, and make sure you rub their nose in it after you win. It's all about the crack. Okay, a little bit about the venue. I am not going to go a huge amount on this, but I'm going to highlight some areas you will need to know. And again, as Owen alluded to, there will be a more formal briefing, but the places you're going to need to know about. River Liffey, where you'll swim, relay pen, where we'll hold you like coil springs, and you will transition from your swimmer will hand over to the biker will hand over to the runner, etc. And the this is part of the run course and the bike course. We'll go through that in a bit more detail. And this is just transition area in general. That's where you will have the bike racked and where your runner will be waiting as well. Okay, so the swim course. Um, on the morning of the swim, you will line up in your wetsuits and you will be letting in waves. So there will be a pontoon where you will be entering the water. Pontoon is a big plastic thing where you can actually either dive in or kind of lower yourself in accordingly, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Um, you will swim up. There'll be red boys here. There will also be a load of kayakers and safety support guys in ribs as well, in case anyone gets into any trouble. It's one of the safest areas to be on the day. You will swim out, up along here, around these turning buoys. There are big red buoys which you turn around and back out. There will be volunteers that will help you out of the race. The pontoon becomes more of a ramp at that stage, and therefore they will help you out, and then you will run up to your relay pen and you'll hand over your timing chip to your biker. Um, some training tips for this. It's 750 meters in open water, so it's a little bit different. So get very comfortable swimming in the pool the next 3 weeks. Ideally, a really good sign for me if an athlete's ready to do a sprint distance is if they can swim 400 meters non-stop in a pool. Okay, that just shows they've got swim endurance. I don't care how long it takes you, as long as you can do it without was it being completely out of breath at the end of the lane each time. Another really key training point is this will be done in a wetsuit. So swimming in a wetsuit in open water is really different to actually swimming in a pool. Pool's nice and controlled. There's lanes, there's lifeguards, etc. And all you can see the bottom the entire time and no one touches your feet. In the open water, there's other shit you need to worry about. There's marine life, there's people touching your legs, there's people kind of the there's reeds, etc. There's currents, etc. So do in the next 3 weeks plan to have some open water sea swimming in a very safe environment in your wetsuit, not in the Liffey. Do not swim in the Liffey because we don't have access to that, and you'll get hit by some lad from Trinity with a rowing boat, which will be no crack. So go to sea point, or go arrange with your pals. And again, the key here is safety. Go in a group. Go with people who are experienced swimmers. Go in, just get used to what it's feeling like swimming in a wetsuit. There's a huge amount of buoyancy in it. It's very different, but you do need to get used to that. So that's one of the key tips I will tell you to do some training sessions on. Your equipment, you do need a decent fitting wetsuit. It doesn't have to be the super duper tri suits that cost like 600, 700, 800 euros. If you've got a shorty wetsuit, that will work. If you've got was it a surfing wetsuit, that will work. But what you do need to do is make sure it fits. A lot of people might have been a surfer before they hit middle age, and now they're going to figure out, oh, it doesn't fit anymore. Get into it, make sure it fits, make sure it's comfortable. Good, comfortable goggles. You'll get a swim cap on the day, and just make sure that the goggles don't fog up, they're not leaking, and the rest you do that by testing beforehand. I'm going to stop there and give any questions for the swim training course or kind of equipment. Any questions or queries?
Is this all at Island Bridge?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. At the
It is
Garda.
at the Garda Boat Club. That's where you will.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where you'll be parking somewhere over here. You'll be gathering here. Transition is here. There'll be lots of people milling around and all the rest. So it'll be a hive of activity. But it's all at the Garda Boat Club is where the crack happens.
I'm not
Mi-
sure.
Might just mention current there, Steve. So you'll see the current is flowing down from the left to the right. So do a brief bit upstream, and then you'll swim downstream. Obviously, the current kind of depends on the day, how strong it is, how much water is flowing, and then you'll swim back upstream. So general rule of thumb is the current is stronger in the middle of the river. So when we talk about triathlon swims, we generally say if you're swimming upstream, try and stay to the side, and when you're swimming downstream, try and position yourself in the middle to maximize that current.
Yeah. And again, there are reeds at the side of the Liffey, so don't go too far. Even when you're trying to avoid the current flow, don't go too far because you'll end up sort of A, adding on a bit of extra distance, and B, kind of getting into the weeds, which we want. But Owen is 100% right. And when you have a current assisted part, try to aim more to the middle and aim, and there will be other buoys along here that will was it mark out the course. So kind of keep tight to them. And when you're swimming against the current, just move out a little bit further away from the buoys because that means it lessens the flow you have to fight against. Sound good? Cool. Now, again, as I said, when you come out of the water, you'll see a lot of other athletes who are in the full sprint or the Olympic. They'll be desperately trying to get their wetsuit off and all the rest because it's part of their transition where they don't want to cycle on the bike. If you're the swimmer in the relay team, you don't need to worry about it. All you need to do is worry about running up, handing over your timing chip to your biker in the relay. They will then put it onto their left ankle, which you will probably have had on the same, and then they're off. And then once they're gone, then you can take your wetsuit off at your own leisure. That's a little bit of a transition tip there. Um, On to the bike course. The bike course you will have come out from the swim start, and you run to what we call the mount line. By the way, another key rule is you cannot touch your bike if you're the cyclist in the relay team. You cannot touch your bike until you have your helmet fastened onto yourself, or else you get a penalty, time penalty, or stop go, depending what the TI rule, the Triathlon Ireland official wants to do at the time. That's the first thing you need to remember. So you need to be ready onto the bike. You run out with the bike into what we call the mount line. This is this point where you cannot get your leg over your bike and start pushing on the pedals until you're past this mount line. Okay. Top tip here. What you'll see is a lot of people run, go over the mount line, stop, and then try to hop on the bike. It gets very crowded around that point. Run a couple of extra feet, and I mean, you get a bit more space, and therefore you're not throwing your leg over and hitting some guy from Athlone who's trying to do the exact same thing. So run a little bit past the mount line, give yourself a bit of space onto the bike, and then you're off on your 3 loops of the Dublin City course. It isn't it's a flat enough course. There are some little bits of elevation. It's on closed roads, and therefore you don't need to worry about traffic. But there are and the road surface is generally good. So these are key things that you need to worry about when you're on the bike as well. Just another point here: the corners here. Just make sure there will be marshals waving you down, so take it easy here. There's a bit more of a descent down here, so it's a bit of fast. Make sure you're comfortable maintaining your speed and feathering the brakes. When we talk about feathering the brakes, instead of slamming on the brakes, you're just gently touching them to slow down your speed. It means you control your deceleration and still able to steer the bike. If you slam on the brakes, you come to a dead stop, someone hits you from behind, and you also can't steer the bike as well. It's a 3-loop course, so remember you have to go around here 3 times. Either keep count, look at your Garmin computer, your Apple Watch, or whatever. And when you hit 20k, then you're heading back to what we have the dismount line, where we have to come to a complete stop before that line, before we get off the bike, and then we run in, rack the bike, and then you run to the relay pin, and you will hand over the timing chip to your runner. Okay. Training tips for that: the next 3 weeks, be out on your bike 2 to 3 times a week. Just get used to it, get comfortable with it. One of those bikes should be a long bike, where for me, I get guys to do, 30 kilometers out cycling, or 40 kilometers out cycling. It just means you've got the endurance, you're comfortable knowing, yes, I do have to go 20 kilometers for the race, but I have to do as fast as possible. But I'm really comfortable doing a little bit longer. It feels comfortable. I know what it's like to be on the bike. If you can, actually go and check out this loop at the weekends. The Phoenix Park will be open to allow cyclists on it. It won't be closed for traffic, so you can just get used to what the climbs are, what the descents are, and we'll give you a lovely bit of pre-race recce beforehand. Equipment recommendations. You will see people at DCT with absolutely stunning bikes that are worth £8,000-10,000, and they are and these are at the top end of the game, or just people with too much money. So do not be intimidated by this. What you need to do is you need to ride on a bike that you've trained in, and it could be a road bike as opposed to a kind of a time trial bike, which is set up for the time trial in Tour de France. It can be a hybrid. It could be a mountain bike. No one's done it in a BMX yet, but I am hoping that they will, or a chopper from the 80s. If they do, I'm going to give them absolute bonus points. But as long as that bike is functional, as in if brakes work, if gears work, and you're comfortable on it, you can do the race on that. Oh, someone did do it on a Dublin City bike at one point, which I thought was quite fun. But they're quite heavy, and it made life a little bit difficult. But I gave them kudos for that. All the bikes are acceptable as long as it's functional. You will get checked for your brakes. You will get checked for whether the bike is roadworthy, as in if the seat's falling off it, the wheels are falling off it, you're not getting through. Just make sure it's working. Got to have a helmet. You cannot do any racing or training in triathlon without a helmet. Cycling tire, whatever you're cycling normally, but I also recommend check out the weather. We have a deal with God. That means that we always get absolutely beautiful weather for DCT, and that's what we expect. Sometimes he doesn't play ball and he forgets the terms and conditions, and there can be a little bit of rain. So bring a rain jacket just in case it is going to be cold. But in general, bring comfortable cycling clothes and lots of sun cream, because we enjoy nice hot days, and it's part of the deal. Or else everyone gets their money back. Isn't that right, Owen? Perfect.
Yep.
Any questions on the bike course, guys?
I just have one with regards to the transition from the bike to run. So I'm going to be plan from my team is I'm doing the bike and the run.
Okay.
Should I be getting changed from, let's say, my cycling gear into my running gear, or do I just run in whatever I've cycled in, or is there
That's your choice,
Up to
John,
you.
and it's a great question. Typically what people will do in triathletes who are doing the full race, they'll be racing what they call a tri-suit, which is actually a little bit of lycra that actually sort of dries out quite quickly from the water, and it's comfortable on the bike and it's comfortable on the run. But if you're going to be in cycling attire and you're going to change into running, I wouldn't recommend running in cycling kit, because it's not really designed. The chamois and it's going to be uncomfortable. So you'll need to have a bit of a towel and your running gear, and sort of like and just have to do a little bit of a change in there.
Okay.
Again, you need to be careful, as in like because you can't have any nudity in transition, as in can be looked harshly on. So
Okay.
just prepare if you've got. Another thing is what you call those dry robes. You can put them on, change your kit under there, as long as you're not showing the world
Actually,
all your sundries, and you're fine.
okay. And there'd be a place then to leave my runners and pair of shorts or whatever.
I think we'd have to do sorry, you would do that beside your bike, as in
Where
like
I
the
put the
rest of
bike.
the
Perfect.
triathletes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got it. Perfect.
So you're gonna have to do that, and you will see people do full changes in transition. It's not unusual, but again, they do know that nudity is not allowed. We're not an OnlyFans account here, John, for God's sake.
Okay, perfect. I'll try keep it under wraps.
Okay, okay, cool. Any other question, guys? Cool. All right. Now we've done our what you call it, our bike and all the rest. And we've either handed on or John is doing the running part. So you will be transitioning out from this side of transition. It's up kind of in the upper left-hand corner of the field. And it is we run onto the course here. Yeah, just a little bit of this is a new part of the course to me. It's the loops is done 2 laps, and we do include this running track here. Um, Back out. That'll be your first lap, second lap, and then your third lap. Sorry, when you reach this the second time, you exit and head down to the finish line. Have I described that correct, Owen? Isn't this a slightly new course for me?
Um, it's the same course as last year. You ran down Chapel Lizard and then around the athletics track and then back, and then there's a turnaround. But I don't think this sprint distance is just one loop around the track and then back.
Okay.
I think no. I think it's sorry, no, it's two loops.
Yep.
Two loops at the turnaround point.
Okay.
And there's normally a good bit of crack at the athletics track and speakers, and there's going to be a DJ down there, and that's good fun. Nice support area.
Yeah. So the key things here to note are you do need to remember your laps. You will be running predominantly on tarmac or concrete, and then on a running track. So you don't need to worry about trail shoes. We used to run inside the park, where it's a bit more of a cross country feel to the end of it. Well, you also had to dodge deer. We've taken that out as a risk assessment. So in terms of what we need to do, again, for your training wise, if you're training for the run, I would recommend you're running kind of 2 to 3 runs a week with one long run at the weekend. And that long run, you should be comfortable just knocking out 4, 5, 6K in whatever time you do, but just feeling comfortable. Again, if you're on the nearby Phoenix Park, you can't replicate this loop exactly, but you can run up and down Chapel Lizard to kind of see what the terrain is, and just get familiar with it. But again, if you're running on standard concrete tarmac, it'll be fine. What I also recommend to people, if you in the next couple of weeks do a park run, I don't know if you guys know what a park run. A park run is essentially in your local area. There will be a timed 5K run that happens, I think, at 9:30 or 10 on each Saturday morning. And it's just a really, really cool way of actually getting a test run for a 5K. And you get a timing chip, you get a time, they do issue your time based on a barcode, and they upload it to a website later on. And then what you could do is do that 2 weeks or the week before DCT, and then see if you can actually beat that time in DCT, which would be a bit of fun. Equipment recommendations. Train on runners you've already trained in. They don't have to be these super shoes where like these Alpha Fly, which cost around €300. If they're a set pair of runners which you're comfortable in, you're absolutely bang on. Running attire, again, something that you're comfortable when you're trained in. Check the weather. As I said, sometimes we have a bit of drizzle, but it's never really a big issue. But especially if you're going to be standing in the relay pen, you do need to be sort of keeping yourself warm. But again, something that's comfortable. There's lots of other pieces of equipment you can throw at with Garmin's heart rate monitor. These are the bare minimum. Same with the bike. Just keep it simple. If it's your first kind of attempt at a triathlon, just enjoy it. Don't throw money at it, because what will happen is you'll run down this finish line. You'll have a great crack with your friends, and you'll sort of go, wow, I want to do more of that. And that's when you upgrade your equipment. So, any questions on the run course?
I will just add that the transition area for the relay teams is covered. It is tented. There are benches to sit, so you will be comfortable no matter what the weather or how long you're waiting for your relay buddies.
Yeah, and there's also was it we've hired people to waft you with palm leaves and feed
Yep,
you peeled grapes as well as
yep,
part of
of
the
course.
VIP package.
Yeah.
See, this is good because the full race director isn't here, so I can completely make absolutely outrageous promises.
No, but there are food and drinks.
Yeah, and look, and it's good fun in
Just
there.
not peeled
As I said,
grapes.
that's where you have a bit of crack with the competition, as in you figure out like sort of okay, right. So what you plan to run, okay, and you end up having a bit of race. So do have that banter in a friendly way, and maximize a bit of fun with it. Okay, so some top tips just before you go open it to over QA. Nothing new on race day, as in you will get when you go and register or when you start talking to your pals, what they're going to do, they'll talk about, oh yeah, I'm going to use these new running shoes, or oh, I've got the new Apple Watch, or I've got. If you haven't trained in it, don't use it, as in because it will actually only cause you issue on the day. Um, Plan out your day, arrive early. The race brief will go out, and they'll tell you exactly when to register, when to get there. Typically people who have good days are the ones who turn up early, give themselves lots of time, they get the parking done and they get set around and they kind of observe how the whole triathlon community and the energy of transition do that. Don't be the guy who's turned up late, kind of like 20 minutes before your race is meant to start and sort of like panic your teammates. Plan it out. Talk to other athletes, have a bit, as I said, bit of crack in transition, talk to your teammates, have a bit of fun. Was it say, right, we expect you to do the bike in 40 minutes, or we expect you to do the swim in 15 minutes, and was it the beers on you if you don't, etc., etc. Do make it fun. Ask people questions. There's lots of all the marshals you will find in DCT are members of Piranha, so they've raced not this specific course because we can't. We have to volunteer it, but they know what we're all briefed and what the course is about. We will give you any last minute tips. We will also give you help with setting yourself in transition. We're here to help because we want you to have a brilliant race day experience. And this is how I got into triathlon. I did DCT over 25 years ago. I ended up becoming just a super triathlete and completely addicted to it. And I've gone through a number of ex-girlfriends who just don't understand why they need to train all the time. But
Even though you won it that year, Steve.
yeah, yeah, that's it. I know. I thought I was going to go pro, but you have to let the other people, the other Olympians, get in the way. Um, Another thing I'll also say, as in you'll hear people say no pain, no gain. I think that's a load of bollocks. This is your first dipping your toe in triathlon. Make sure you're enjoying it. Make sure, like, yes, push yourself to the point you're comfortable and it feels like, you're sweating and you're giving it. Don't kill yourself. Don't was it just that you're too uncomfortable either in training or in racing. That will come later. Make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you get down the finish line going, wow, that was great. So do enjoy it. And as I said, we're here to help. There's loads of people around. We love in DCT and Prana where we get really nice feedback afterwards where people go, listen, that was just an epic day. And what tends to happen is people doing the relay or trying off in a sprint, they end up kind of joining our club and they also go, wow, I'd love to do one of my own. I'd love to do an Olympic. I'd love to do, it opens up. So this actually does become, it's a gateway drug into an amazing community where your people are just energetic, enthusiastic, and you'll see that on the day. All our marshals are kind of just into it. We love this. So I'm gonna throw the door open to Q&A. Anything you'd like to ask myself or Owen about the course, the your training, equipment, etc.
Hi, Stephen. Russell Rochford here. Thanks very much for all that. And sorry I was delayed getting on to the call. I, we have about 5 teams coming, and I'd say most of us will not have had experience before in a kind of a triathlon event like this. And I've done the DCT event before. It's brilliant and it's really well organized. I've not done a corporate relay though, but just on the transition piece. So I presume there's a section within the transition area that's kind of demarcated for the corporate relay. And sorry, by the way, if you covered this at the beginning when I wasn't on, but
No
it's
problem.
easy to see it when you come out of the water. You tap the cyclist, and I presume they just do their thing and jump on the bike and they're gone.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely. So you'll come out of the water roughly around here.
Yeah.
There's going to be, it'll be very well marshaled about how you run up to the relay pen, and then you
Okay.
hand over the timing chip
Okay.
from your left leg to the
Okay.
cyclist who will put it on their left leg. Again, that's because they don't want to, would be close to the chain of the bike,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
head out. So there's, yeah, there, and that's where we, as
Nice
I
and
said, we
easy.
hold
Okay.
you guys all ready in one location. And as Owen pointed out, is covered. I think there's food and drink and dancing girls and everything a man could require while waiting for their swimming or cycling partner to come back.
Very good. Okay, I'll actually be doing the cycling as well as the swimming, so I'll but it's just more for the other guys who'll kind of be looking for their race team partner. And then on the swim, I know when I did it, you guys had people going in waves, and I can't remember when it was, maybe 2022 I did it, but there was certainly rake loads of people going in on certain waves, which meant that it was a bit of a soup. And I know that can happen, and that's just the way these things are. But is that the way it'll be approached this time around as well?
Yes, it is going to be waves again. I don't know if we do a specific. I think we're letting the relay off in the specific wave. Owen, is that
At
correct?
the end.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay, very
at
good.
the
Okay.
at the end, Russell. And look, we are aware of that from feedback in terms of last year's events. So the waves will be very controlled to ensure that everyone kind of trickles into the water at a good it's typically two, three people at a time, so that there isn't any kind of mass panic
Yeah. But
involved.
it's kind of unavoidable to some extent with the river is not massively wide, is it? So it's just the way it is. But that's cool. I just wanted to get clarity. So actually, it's even more straightforward for us if we're at the end. It's
Yeah,
cool.
no, thanks, Russell. We're looking forward to having Maths in there. And look, we'll do a briefing. Do get your teams, do get everyone onto the briefing call so that everyone has an opportunity to just run through it from us, and then we'll also have a
Okay.
brief document that we share, just to make sure everything's. But look, on the day, it always sounds a lot more complicated than it is. On the
Yeah.
day, it all comes together. Loads of marshals. You'll know exactly what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Steve,
brilliant.
Steve,
No, no,
Steve,
no.
Steve will be there jumping up and down.
Yeah, I know it's a brilliant event. Like we've G'd up a lot of support here for it. I think it's our first year at it, so we hope in years to come will be more people will join us. But it's a brilliant
Excellent.
event. We're really looking forward to it.
Cool.
Brilliant.
All good questions. Anything else from the rest of the guys in the call?
Not for me, no.
Cool. All right. And the last thing we will do then is a small bit of self-promotion. As I said, if you have any questions as well, like there will be the briefing. That's my website, smartenduranceSolutions.com. info@smartenduranceSolutions.com. But also, if you want to have some really good tips and also learn how to do transitions faster, if you're thinking about doing other stuff, I have a YouTube channel with a small following of over 100,000 followers. So you can actually go subscribe and actually follow great content from me in general. And it just means that I can be in your ear as much as possible. As you know, I'm lovely, very knowledgeable, and very charismatic. So tell all your friends to follow me, watch my videos, and it will help me become bigger than Mr. Beast, and I can retire before 55, which is my secret plan.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent, right? Yeah.
As I said, and by the way, if you do have any questions and rest, like if any training questions, any equipment questions, fire them to me. If you have any event questions, fire them to relay email. We kind of divvy it up that way just to make sure that the guys I can focus on the admin and the run the race, and I can help just making sure you guys are prepped and is ready to have an absolutely belter race experience, which we love to see.
Great. Thanks, Mel, Steve.
Exactly. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Well, look, like you said, like Steve mentioned, there's a dedicated email inbox for all things relay. Anyone can just fire a question. I'll man that personally. And look, thanks a million, Steve. You're very good. And everyone else, we're looking forward to seeing you on the briefing call, and enjoy the bank holiday weekend.
Thanks,
And get
guys.
Cheers.
training,
Lovely.
people. None of your messing. None of the sitting around drinking wine all the time. I've got a race to prepare for. I want to see training. I want to see people up in Strava. I want to see a great smiley faces at the finish line, and that's where you earn it now. Was that too hard? Oh, or are we still doing the softy
No,
softy?
that's all good.
Cheers, Steve. Thanks,
Okay,
on.
end of call.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Alrighty,
Bye,
bye.
bye, 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 bye.
See you guys.
Cheers. Thanks.